Hey y'all, do y'all love potatoes like me? If I was on a deserted island and I could only take one food with me, it would be potatoes because I love them and you can do so much with them. And today I'm going to bring you 3 recipes using potatoes and 2 recipes I'm going to make in a muffin tin. So they're really easy and one of them is my all-time favorite now. But this one is going to be a mashed potato puff and I'm just using some instant potatoes. These are really delicious and just as good as homemade mashed potatoes. So I'm going to use those so it'll be quick and easy. So I'm just going to mix those up per the directions. Just put them in some boiling water and mix them up. And I'm just going to let these sit and hang out until they get to room temperature. So I will start on the next recipe. So I'll just push that out of the way and let it cool down. And this one is called Gruyere and thyme stacked potatoes, and oh my goodness, my favorite potato dish of all time, my new one anyway. So I've just got 3 medium potatoes that I scrubbed really well and washed off. I've got my muffin tin here. I'm going to use this butter wrapper. I save all my butter wrappers and just put them in a little baggie and keep them in the fridge for this. But take note, I would use more than what I put in because they stuck really bad, but they were worth it. They were worth cleaning this pan. But I have got some cheese, some Parmesan cheese that I grated up. I had a little bit left out of my fridge. And I also have the Gruyere that I needed to use up, so I knew this recipe would be perfect. I bought it at Christmas time and never used it. And I love Gruyere, so I'm excited to make this. Okay, I got my potatoes here thinly sliced. And I've got melted butter. I've got parsley flakes, onion powder, and garlic powder. I've changed up a few things in the recipe, but I'll tell you what I did different. And I'll also have the exact recipe linked down below in the description box. I'll have the recipe for all of them down there. And I'm just going to mix that butter mixture in here. It had me layer all kinds of stuff, and I thought this was just a lot easier to put it all in one bowl. So I've got the butter mixture, I've got the Gruyere, and I've got the Parmesan, and I'm just going to mix that all together. I also added a little bit of salt and pepper, but you want to be careful because you don't want to make it too salty with the cheeses. So now I'm just going to stack everything in the muffin tins. And y'all, this was delicious. It was like crunchy and creamy at the same time. I mean, I am going to make up so many of these and put them in the freezer. I tell you, the next day I heated it up for breakfast in the microwave and they were still as delicious as they were when they came out of the oven. So I'm telling you, these are delicious. And I think next time I might try and make it into a casserole and just layer it in a casserole dish instead of doing it like this. Okay, I'm finishing these up and I'm just going to clean it up and make sure some of the cheese is not on the side so it doesn't stick to the pan. And now I'm going to start on those potato puffs. I can't wait for those two. Alright y'all, these are the mashed potato puffs and it called for 3 eggs, but I'm halving the recipe, so I thought since I didn't have a half an egg, I would use a guinea egg and a regular egg from my friend. And it worked out perfect. I've got a half a cup of the mashed potatoes, so I'm just going to mix that up with the eggs. I added some parsley flakes, some pepper jack cheese, and some pepper. The recipe calls for cheddar cheese and chives, but I didn't have that. But you can make this recipe your own. It's really versatile. Anything you like in your mashed potatoes or a baked potato, you could do it. So I'm just mixing that up really well. And then I did shred some Parmesan cheese because that's what's going to go on the top. Okay, everything's mixed together, so I'm just going to go ahead and put it in the muffin tins. And this was just the right amount. Everything came out perfect. I didn't have any leftovers. Okay, I'm going to add the Parmesan cheese on top. And next time I would not cook these as long or bake them as long because I don't think they needed that much time in the oven. They're already cooked, so I think 30 minutes would have been good. But I'm going to bake these in a 450-degree oven for about 40 to 45 minutes. All right, y'all, does that not look heavenly? I mean, I could not wait to get these out of the oven. So I'm going to let them sit as long as I can, but it's not going to be too long because I'm ready to eat. This is what I mean when I tell you to really, really coat the pan with some nonstick spray. Y'all, those stacked potatoes, I think is one of the best things I've ever eaten ever. They were so, so good. And those potato puffs were really good too. I think they just needed a little bit less time in the oven. But look at this. Oh my goodness, y'all. It was like creamy and it was crunchy at the same time. The middle is like creamy and like the best potato you've ever had. And it's like in slices. You can just pick the slices off and eat it. I mean, I cannot say enough good things about this. You have got to try it. This last recipe is easy cheesy potatoes, and I've just got 3 large Yukon Gold potatoes here that I've cooked just until fork tender, and I let them drain to drain off all the water. It also calls for cream of chicken soup and sour cream. I thought I had sour cream, but when I looked, I'd used my sour cream to make onion dip, and just a homemade onion dip with some minced onion, and I went ahead and used that instead of the sour cream. And it really turned out good, so I'll do that next time. And also, it calls for onion powder and garlic powder and salt and pepper, and I also added that. And it also calls for some melted butter. It did call for scallions, but I didn't have that, so I just left it out. I figured the onion in that onion dip would give me a lot of onion flavor, and I just stirred that around. I did mix it all together in a bowl. It wanted me to mix it in the baking dish, but I didn't want to do that. So I did add the cheese in there, half of the cheese, and mix that in together. And again, I didn't have cheddar cheese, so I'm just mixing in some pepper jack cheese, and also I added in a little bit of that Parmesan cheese in there too. And I'm just going to layer that on the top. If I would have found my breadcrumbs, I would have put that on there too, because I really like a crunchy top on my potatoes. But I can't believe I've never made cheesy potatoes before, so I'm so glad to make this recipe. My niece makes the best, and I hope these were just compared to hers, because Doug really loves her potatoes. I have got my oven preheated to 350 degrees, and it'll go in there uncovered for about 45 minutes. All right, y'all, it's been 45 minutes. I've been counting the minutes. Oh my goodness, y'all. I wish y'all could smell it. All that bubbly cheese, those potatoes. Oh my goodness, smell the garlic. I cannot wait to dig into this. All right, y'all. I've cooled it off a little bit. Now I'm going to dig in. I hope this is going to be delicious. I know it will be. I mean, how can you go wrong with just cheese and potatoes and onion dip? Oh my gosh, I hope that makes it good, because I can't imagine it being bad. Well, I'm taking some of the cheese on that side, but that's fine. Y'all, this was delicious. Every one of these recipes were amazing. You've got to try them. And I think my niece Julie might have some competition on her cheesy potato recipe. But these were all new to me recipes, and I'm so glad I found them, because they were all delicious but easy to put together. So I know I'll have them on my rotation for sure. So if you like these types of recipes, give me a thumbs up, and hopefully you'll subscribe to my channel to get more recipes like this. So I hope y'all have a wonderful and blessed day, and I'll see y'all in the next video.